Which you knew I wouldn't, though, because I don't draft Patriots as a rule.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Listen, I was like 7 or 8 marks deep.
It's true. So you were hella faded on the couch at that point.
Very much so. So I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, so
I know where I was.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, here in the Soul Shack, as always. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, we've been talking about rookies for a very long time. Saturday was oh so nice because we finally got to draft them. I don't know about you boys, but it was a lot of fun.
Always a lot of fun. Always one of my most favorite days of the year.
It's a fun day. It took us about an hour and a half to get through 5 rounds, 12 teams, so 60 picks, Bobo. We got some trades in the mix this year, which we don't always get. Yeah, like Addy said, one of my favorite days of the year, our League of Record rookie draft.
We've probably talked about rookies in here, in this shack, longer this year than I feel like we ever have.
Yeah.
We started early.
We started before the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yes, we did.
Which is when, like February?
It's the second Sunday in February.
Yeah, we've been talking about rooks for a while.
Yeah, built different.
Yeah.
Built different. So this is what we're talking about on this episode, folks. We mentioned it last week. We're going to be diving into our main League of Record, the league from which this podcast sprang, the XFFL, hosted on Reality Sports Online. Free plug, not a sponsor currently, but if you're looking for a dynasty league, especially with salaries and contracts, check out RSO. They are the best in the biz. We've been on there since 2016.
Wow.
We started the XFFL, so
Different people back then.
much different people. No kids, a lot more hair, a lot less pain physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
So
Way less worries back then.
a lot less stress. The world was a different place too.
Yeah, a lot
Let's be
cheaper
honest.
back then.
A lot cheaper. A lot less
fast
scary
food was
place.
good.
Yeah, yeah. The fast
trust
food
the
is
staff
not
a little
good.
more.
Yeah.
Could leave your door unlocked.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but yes, the fast food was definitely better in 2016.
In our 20s.
It's true.
Yeah.
Were we?
8 years ago,
Yeah.
yeah. 28 for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Different people.
A lot less cares.
So definitely our favorite league. Again, that's where this podcast came from. And our rookie draft, we mentioned 1 QB, pretty straightforward. Be a pretty simple episode. We're just going to go through round by round. All 3 of us had draft picks in this draft. We're going to kind of break it down round by round. And, of course, every league is different because the teams that are drafting have different needs. They have different philosophies for team building, but it's just nice to see. This is a pretty sharp league. Most of the folks in here are pretty plugged in, and so I think it's a good indication of what you can expect, especially in 1 QB IDP rookie drafts.
New winner every single year.
Yes, no repeat champions thus far.
Pretty sweet.
So let's jump into it, though, boys. Let's give the people what they want, what they came for. So what we're going to do, we will read off the rounds, and we'll have them listed out. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have those listed out as well. And then we'll read the rounds, and then we'll just kind of go back. Any picks that we made in that round, we can talk over those, favorite values, any kind of reaches, whatever you guys want to discuss, we will get into it. But the top 3, no surprise, Marvin Harrison Jr., 101, Malik Neighbors, 102. I selected Rome Odunze at the 103. Xavier Worthy goes 104. This is where I feel like 1 QB drafts start to get interesting, is at 104. Xavier Worthy is the choice here in this league at 104. John goes Brock Bowers at 105. Jonathan Brooks goes at 106. John goes back to the wide receiver, or goes to the wide receiver well at 107, Brian Thomas Jr. And then Addy, you go, Sam goes Ladd McConkey at the 108. And then you go 109, Keon Coleman. Trey Benson goes at 110. Xavier Legette goes at 111. And then Adonai Mitchell rounds out the group at the 112. So, like I mentioned, I think, let's see, me and Addy had picks. You had a pick. We'll get to it. You traded out of that pick. You were originally at 110. 103 was pretty simple for me. I was hoping that Malik Neighbors went at 102 so I could get Rome at 103. So you had told me it was going to be Malik. Ended up being Malik. Very happy to get Rome Odunze at 103, but I feel like that's pretty standard 1, 2, 3 there in 1 QB leagues, Bobo.
Yeah, Adam was just saying earlier how Odunze fell to him at 109
Yeah,
in
it did
Superflex.
People were needing some quarterbacks, so it did happen.
Yeah.
And Bowers went right before. my pick.
I've heard a little bit of this stuff here the last week or so about like, what if Odunze really doesn't play that much this year? He's going to play a lot this year. I think that's a pretty awesome setup for Odunze. You know, I mean, we've talked about it with Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors is awesome. I think he should be talent-wise, honestly considered in the same tier as Marvin Harrison. I think both those guys are just elite route runners, elite separators, you know, good down the field, great hands. But just like we said, I don't know if you ever found that video, Josh, we were talking about from last week, where Neighbors gets off the charter van, whatever you want to call it, there in New York, and was just automatically bummed to meet the organization. He knows.
Can you blame him?
He knows that road he's about to hoe is he's gonna have some blisters.
Yeah, he's gonna have a lot of blisters. He's gonna have a lot of regrets.
Old Danny Dimes, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing for me. I would have taken Odunze at 2, just because, yeah, I think Neighbors will get a QB upgrade, but we know the Bears have a legit quarterback. And so I would rather just not take the gamble. You know, I mean, I think we all around this table feel pretty confident that Caleb Williams is going to be pretty good. I'll take I think the future wide receiver 1 tethered to that guy. But what do you think, Addy, about Xavier Worthy going 104? That's where I think the discussion really starts, is who is your 104 in 1 QB leagues?
It would be Bowers for me. But, I mean, that could look fine. If this is Tyreek Hill 2.0, that will be a pretty good pick, I'd say. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not upset about it. I slept fine that night. But
I mean, you always do.
I would go Bowers.
Yeah, I think.
But I think it is Worthy next.
I think it's the Patrick Mahomes allure. You're just trying to, like Addy said, find the next super weapon for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I think Rashee Rice has driven Xavier Worthy up rookie draft boards. I think Hollywood Brown has a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, I mean, Xavier
could
Worthy
be the wide receiver 1 for this team as early as next year potentially.
Definitely, and good profile. Like, he produced early and immediately at Texas. But yeah, I mean, Brock Bowers is, I don't know, we throw this around a lot, but from everything I've seen and from everything I've watched, he is generational.
Yeah, it's just the quarterback situation, I think. But I'm with you. Brock Bowers would be my 104, just because what if you do get the next elite tight end? Then you're set. Most of the leagues, that's a onesie position, kind of like quarterback. So I would roll the dice on Brock Bowers getting a QB upgrade 2025.
I agree with the 104 pick. I'm taking Worthy over Bowers. My problem with Bowers is just that when you take a tight end in the first round, they better hit pretty quick. Because if not, then you're starting to look at the players that were taken after him, and you're thinking, gosh, should I have taken Brian Thomas? Should I have taken Jonathan Brooks? Should I have grabbed one of these other wide receivers? The Kyle Pitts manager would probably say something very similar, that it's been a tough couple years. If you grab a guy like Bowers, it's very similar to Malik Neighbors. I mean, it's going to be a tough road for a while, maybe for Bowers, unless you're Vegas
peppered with targets from Gardner Minshew, little short, quick passes over the middle of the field.
AOC.
Even still, from a team perspective, it's going to be difficult for Bowers. I mean, you do have Michael Mayer, which is a weird situation. I do think there's a world where maybe Mayer plays more of that tight end and Bauer maybe plays like a Mike Gesicki kind of slot type
I think
of deal.
He could be a slot wide
Hunter
receiver
Renfro's
type.
not there anymore. They've got Devontae Wyatt. I don't even know who their second wide receiver is.
They got Jacoby Myers.
Okay. That's fine. I just traded for Mayer not too long ago, just as like he was free, and I know everybody's kind of like all into Brock Bowers and stuff right now, but
what if he comes out and is like Sam Laporta, though, immediately?
Yep.
That's also on everyone's minds, right?
Sure.
I just saw
fresh.
Some of these tight ends produce pretty, immediately and pretty well. So
even if he's Dalton Kincaid,
right.
It's like the tight ends usually take a while to produce, but last year we got 2 top 15 tight ends for 2023, like right off the bat. I mean, I think Laporta's going as tight end 1 right now in best ball drafts.
Trey McBride burst onto the scene. So
I do think though that 2 through 3 in 2024 could have quite a bit of shakeup. Where if Malik Neighbors, it's just not working out there with Daniel Jones. you're going to be maybe a little bit bummed because you're like, gosh, I should have just grabbed Odunze or Worthy. And even the Odunze manager could say the same thing about Worthy. Like, I don't typically fall into the 4-2-1 John Ross trap with a lot of these wide receivers because a lot of times they're just fast and that's all there is. But you said it, Adam. I mean, go back and look at his college production at Texas, and it's pretty stupid to go away from a guy like Xavier Worthy. Just went to the Super Bowl, winning Kansas City Chiefs. And you're exactly right, Josh. They have, like, all the stars aligning from the standpoint of, like, Rashee Rice is kind of a dummy. I don't think Hollywood Brown is exactly what he was the first couple years of the NFL. I don't think he's been able to stay healthy, and he's just not producing at that elite level. You've got Travis Kelce, who took a pretty solid age step back last year. So, I mean, if Xavier Worthy can...
Swifty now, too.
Yes, yeah.
Got to deal with that.
The biggest Swifty, I'd say.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I mean, there's some freaks out there.
Yeah, he's got to act like he is, no doubt.
I will say, speaking of trading for tight ends, I have Jordan Love. I traded for Tucker Kraft. He was basically free. But Packers, Tucker Kraft says his pectoral popped right off the bone while bench pressing. So that is suboptimal.
This happened today?
This is very recent. This was this week. I'm
wow.
That's a
pretty
torn
sure.
pec.
So
Tucker Kraft was great last year too.
That's why I was like, let me just get a little kind of free. I had no tight ends.
My best friend
get
did
the
that.
stack.
That's a 6 month probably.
Yeah, I don't know that he's starting. He may start the season on pop.
All
at
of
this
your
point.
pec just comes over into your shoulder, and all your muscle is just sitting there.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a weird look, man.
That's why you don't lift weights, guys.
Yeah, stay out of the gym.
So all
Just
right,
listen to us.
let's look at
Sit in your chairs.
Yeah, look at us. Yeah. Model
watch us.
physique. 106, Jonathan Brooks. I love BTJ at 107. I was glad to see him in the first round. I don't understand what's been up with the slide of Brian Thomas Jr. I thought Ladd McConkey at 108 made sense.
T-Law for some reason. People are
we
upset
on board with him?
Yeah.
There's that whole question.
I mean, he's still really young.
I think so too.
I think we need to all calm down a little bit.
I think they're going to be just fine.
He also, aside from Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram, I will say that, but has not had really good wide receiver yet.
But he's also made them better than they've ever been anywhere else.
Jamal Agnew's had a couple good years. Christian Kirk's been great. Calvin Ridley sucked last year. I'm so glad that they got off of him and went this route. Do not pay Calvin Ridley $50 million or whatever the Titans gave him. Please go get a rookie, young wide receiver
But yeah, they haven't really had like an elite talent receiver, right?
a number one.
Yeah,
They've had a bunch
Christian
of twos.
And I'll
Kirk
take
and-
the chance that Brian Thomas Jr. could be that.
I think so, yeah. I think he's a different type player than what they've had there.
Joshy at 4, would you have gone BTJ or Worthy or Bowers?
I would have gone Bowers at 104.
Okay, of the two wide receivers, who would you prefer there?
I would have probably gone. I think it's a real coin flip. I don't think you can go wrong attaching yourself to Patrick Mahomes. But if Rashee Rice gets his act together, you've got competition there for wide receiver 1 for the Chiefs. Whereas I think Brian Thomas Jr., if he is as advertised, will be the team's wide receiver 1, maybe as soon as this year, next year.
I will say, I do kind of like Christian Kirk for this year.
Yeah, Kirk's great too.
He's
and
awesome.
Evan Ingram.
Sure.
So some nice receiving
What about
options
you,
there.
Addy? So you're going Bowers at 4.
I've got Bowers. I'm looking at my ranks right now. Bowers 4, Brian Thomas Jr. 5, Xavier Worthy 6.
Okay.
So this shook out pretty close.
Jonathan Brooks 7.
Yeah. So not a crazy first round by any stretch. It's just, I think after 3, what do you like? What's your kind of preference?
Yeah.
Like, what are you shooting for?
And also, what kind of needs do you have?
Yep.
You know.
So, yes, Ladd McConkey goes at 108 after Brian Thomas Jr. Keon Coleman, Addy, you took at 109. Let's pause there because we have a trade coming up at 110 to discuss with Bobo. You said that you felt Keon Coleman was kind of the end of a tier. For me, it's the end of that no doubt first round tier.
Right.
Past him, I think you're into that territory of like debatable first round picks.
Yeah, because you look at the receivers after him, it's Ricky Pearsall, it's Xavier Legette, it's A.D. Mitchell, John Polk, Jermaine Burton. So all those guys that I like those guys, but I don't know. I
don't want to take those guys in the first round.
They've all got questionable quarterback situations. There's a lot of competition for targets. And Keon Coleman, he's walking into a situation where he's going to be the wide receiver 1, I think, right off the bat.
Too. Yep. They've already said they're going to make him probably try to play X wide receiver.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know if that's going to stick.
Yeah.
I feel like he might be like a bigger slot type guy.
Yeah.
But I think he can get there. I think there is like a little bit of me that's worried about like the bust potential just because he's not the best separator. He's contested catch guy, but he plays fast. You know, we look back at the gauntlet at the combine, like the guy was, I think, the fastest of, and you look at the way he ran the drill, like catching the ball with confidence. So I do feel good about him. I think the dude's a gamer. When he was at Michigan State, he was a stud. He was, I think he led the team in receiving with Jaden Reed there. So yeah, I'm a fan of Keon Coleman. Also, you know, we know about the characters that he is, so that's always nice.
That's fun. And Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, right.
I mean, we know Josh Allen's going to be there forever. We know Patrick Mahomes is going to be there forever. Same with Trevor Lawrence. So for me, I think I would, if I'm going for tiebreaker, I would just opt for the guys with better quarterbacks. You know? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, look, Ladd McConkey. Look at this entire first round up through the Keon Coleman pick. You know, Marvin Harrison Jr., say what you will about Kyler Murray. He's going to be there. Malik is really the one where it's like, who's going to be the quarterback for Malik Neighbors in 2025? Because I don't think it's going to be. You
got to be patient.
Daniel
Patience
Jones.
required with Malik Neighbors. Don't be an idiot and sell him after a down year.
Yeah. It's going to be a down year.
Because it could happen.
It's going to be a down
I'd say
year.
it's likely.
I will be submitting some offers to the
course.
Malik Neighbors manager because I think Malik is that good.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll be fine. And again, these quarterback situations change quickly.
Yeah.
Every
and
year.
the coaching situation, like New York could be turned upside down.
I think we're looking at new coach, new GM, new quarterback for the Giants in 2025. That's my early prediction. So, okay, Bobo, you were sitting at 110.
Yeah.
I'm going to read off the trade here that you got for the 110 and then take us through kind of the process on your end.
Okay.
So you traded for the 110 or the 110.
Yeah.
You traded Josh Sweat, L'Jarius Sneed, a 2026 second, and 206, which became Dallas Turner. To Charlie for the 110, which you traded out of. It became Trey Benson, and 506. Which was Isaac Gurindo. So you have 110.
Yep.
You're sitting there. You end up trading 110 to Nico for Isaiah Pacheco, the 301, which becomes Jalen Polk, in a 2025 first. Take us through kind of the process that unfolded here and ended up with you trading out of 110.
I didn't love the names that were on the board at 110. With the
Teardrop.
Do what?
Teardrop.
Yeah. With the guy who was wanting to move into 110 was pretty adamant about whoever it was that he wanted. I genuinely didn't know who he wanted. I kind of thought he wanted Caleb, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So when I saw the Benson pick, I was a little bit surprised. Josh's loving co-manager, Evan Ringler, got in my DMs pretty quickly and was like, would you have taken Pacheco straight for the 110? I was like, absolutely. Like, I love Pacheco. I don't know. I don't know how many more years of good Pacheco that we have, but it just seemed like one of those moves where you're right, Addy. Xavier Leggett, I do love the character that he is, and I love his tape.
I'm surprised you didn't hang in there at 110 and tank Leggett. That's what we were calling at Connie's house. We said, here comes Xavier Leggett.
It was just
110.
Time to kind of zig a little bit, man. I think I've talked too much about Leggett on the pod. I think it was time to do something a little bit different. So I don't know. I mean, what are your all's thoughts on it? I hope it's a decent fifth or a decent first in 2025. It's always nice to have a first. And then Pacheco and the 301. I mean, I felt like it was a good return.
I mean, you're at the 110 this year. I mean, there's a very good chance it'll be higher than that.
Yeah.
So I love that. And also, I mean, you got the 301. I mean, Jalen Polk was probably in consideration, honestly, at the 201.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I mean, he's in that tier. Like I mentioned him when I was talking about those receivers after Keon Coleman.
And like you said, you would have taken Pacheco straight up for 110, so everything on top of that is just gravy. And you got a 25 first.
Him and the other receiver I took, we won't get to it until a little while, but the 301 and the 302, those are my favorite picks of the draft. Those are the two that I really, really wanted, just from a production perspective.
And don't miss the important context here that you also had the 201.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you were getting
out of the draft.
You were getting
Yeah.
totally out of the first and second round. You
Yeah.
had a pick 3 picks later.
I had a couple of people that I know around me too, right there. So I kind of knew who was going to be taken. I knew where Ben was going. I had no idea where Lee was going to go, but then I had a pretty good feeling where Zach was going to kind of bookend me though, behind me. So I was like, I kind of think I know the range that I'm in. I'll go ahead and I love Pacheco, man. I don't hate to
And it's the
admit it.
classic Bobo. We always talk about the boomerang trade.
Yeah.
Ships him off to Nico, comes flying right back
It's like
in the
the
same
third or fourth
offseason.
time you've
I think
shipped
I
him off and
traded
him.
Pacheco for
Are you
a
trying to send a message?
third and a fourth and then got him back in this type of deal. That's the way we
This
like the
offseason,
boomerang,
right?
man.
That
Yeah.
is, he's literally money laundering.
Yeah.
Like he is literally
Yeah.
washing bills.
y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna hire somebody to look into what
We're gonna
he's
do
doing.
some
'Cause
forensic accounting.
there's something illegal that he's doing.
Yes.
I'm certain of it.
There's some money changing hands, some collusion.
So let's talk about the pick though. Did y'all like Trey Benson there at the 110?
I mean,
I
for
feel
what's
like-
there,
yeah,
sure.
I feel like
but,
after
but I'm
Keon
not trying to
Coleman,
like
yeah.
pay up to get
The
that.
move is
Yeah.
to trade out of 110.
Yes, of course.
I don't like none of these guys I like as first round
Like
picks.
if Keon Coleman was there, you may not move for that.
We're sticking for Keon
I think you're
Coleman.
gonna take the swing on that.
Keon Coleman was the last guy that
And that's why I was submitted. I had people trying to, one person especially, trying
Yeah,
to get
sure.
109, and I was not moving
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
looking at the list, and there was 9 guys that I felt outside of Caleb Williams. I think
Yeah.
I was expecting Caleb Williams to be drafted.
in the first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's how I felt about from the beginning.
I think a lot of people related Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson together. I think they thought that this was the 2 running backs, and then after that was the tier. And I kind of disagree a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Brooks, and then I think a tier.
It's another tier, yeah.
Yeah,
And then Benson. And I like Benson.
And
I
well-
just think that was an overpay to get into 110 and take Benson.
And I really like Corum a lot.
I do too.
I think he's going to be awesome.
I do too.
Reminds me a lot of this is not a name that you want to
No.
probably be reminded of, but Ray Rice.
Yeah.
You know, just his build and just like
I was
how
like, where are
Small,
you going
stocky.
with
but
this?
just how he was really, really good in college. Remember, like there was like Rutger games were on
Oh,
all
dude.
the time.
Yeah.
But same thing, like Corum is
Well,
just gonna be good. I think.
If you look at what Sean McVay's doing, look at all the running backs that he has out there. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum are very similar builds. Very small guy. Look at who else they brought in. Byron Scott.
yeah,
You know, small
Boston.
Byron Scott,
he's
the NBA player.
NBA player / coach, I think, maybe.
He played for the Bulls.
Yeah.
And the Lakers?
at one point. Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, you're definitely a coach too.
Wow, NBA.
Lakers.
Yes. Pretty sure, yeah.
That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. NBA talk. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not taking Benson there at the 110. I was happy with that trade.
I didn't get any Benson
Yeah.
this year in any of my drafts. I like Benson.
I do too.
I think he's going to be in a great situation.
I just didn't like the ADP here.
yeah.
I didn't like the ADP. Let me finish it here, Joshy. So Xavier Leggett then goes to Lee at the 111. And then I will say Adonai Mitchell there at the 112. I'm probably more optimistic about Adonai Mitchell than maybe you guys are. Adonai Mitchell had a crazy RAS. I think he ran like a 4.35 at the 40. There are questions about like, does he quit on routes? Maybe some like character concern stuff, I think. But Adonai Mitchell,
Got diabetes.
I think
Yeah,
he-
the Beatus. Yeah, apparently he was a bad teammate because his blood sugar would drop out and he would be real moody. So he's learning how to he's like, I hired a nutritionist, figuring out how to manage my
That's
blood
hard
sugar.
stuff to manage for,
Yeah.
for
Yes,
a young
it is.
kid, man.
Get a kid in college that
I'd
has
be bad at that
diabetes
today.
I
Yeah.
think that you could look up and at Indy,
Real bad.
Adonai Mitchell could
Find
be
out
y'all's
one day, I
best receiver.
I
I think
still,
he could be better than Pittman.
I think he could be a very good 1A, 1B type of situation.
Yeah, upside's definitely there.
I've just
But
never
yes,
thought
yes.
Pittman was like a
It is in
one.
his range of outcomes to be Indy's wide receiver 1.
And
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. They're at the end of the first. I thought Adonai Mitchell, I would have taken him over Trey Benson. I would have taken him over Xavier Leggett. That's probably, I would have taken him over Ladd.
My concern with the Colts receivers is Anthony Richardson
Sure.
distributing the ball.
I
you
get
know?
that. I get
Is
that.
he going to make them relevant for fantasy?
Yeah.
Consistently.
But I trust Shane Steichen. I think that there will be a big offensive, shift this year to, Josh Downs is still going to be there. He's going to be underneath and everything. Who is y'all's tight end now?
It's Jelani Woods. It's like
Mullally.
Kylan Granson.
Is he still there, Mullally?
Mullally Cox is still there. So
Gigantor.
it's just a bunch of no names.
Yeah.
That's why I wish Brock
Bowers.
Bowers had gotten to us.
They absolutely wanted Brock Bowers.
They wanted him so bad. They
gotcha.
wanted him so, and they were like, Las Vegas is not taking Brock Bowers. They don't need a tight end. They've got Michael Mayer. And
Exactly.
Sure enough. I was looking to see
And
because
then he does the, we got the best pass rusher in the draft.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got-
Sick
he's
mullet.
got the meme face where
Yeah.
he's smiling. And
he's
really
like, you're sitting back here so you can get this sick lettuce. Yeah, Chris Ballard's going through a midlife crisis, everyone.
Absolutely.
I was looking to see how Blake Corum's size compared to Doug Martin, because that's the guy I always
Doug
think
Martin.
of with, like,
That's a good one, too.
who was Muscle Hamster, which was one of the, or the Duggernaut, which
Oh.
I love the
Yeah,
Duggernaut. That's
a
a
good one.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
But Blake Corum's size, he was 5'8", 214. Doug Martin was 5'9", 210. So very similar build. I would have taken. I talked to Ringler a little bit about trading up in the second if
Yeah.
Blake Corum was there at like 204.
Yeah.
He ends up going at 203. We can just get into it now.
Thanks for the
Blake,
call, Evan.
Yeah, Blake Corum would have been in consideration for me at the end of the first. I just think that dude, especially if Kyron Williams goes down, you've got
And even if not,
potential
I think
RB1.
he could actually just be better. He
Yeah.
could
Could
be.
be.
a better
He
running
could
back.
just
I
beat
mean,
out Kyron Williams.
Kyron could have been. I like Kyron, but he could have absolutely been a product of that system.
System guy.
Yep.
So let's go second round, though. Bobo, you go with Ricky Pearsall, 201. Caleb Williams goes 202. Blake Corum, we mentioned, 203. John goes with Jaden Daniels at 204. Jalen Wright goes 205. Dallas Turner, we wondered where the first IDP would go. We thought somewhere between like 206 to like 212. Sure enough, what you're going to see here is that exact spread. Dallas Turner labeled as a linebacker, unfortunately,
That's
by
fine.
RSO, but we'll get that
fine.
fixed
Just 1
next. Yeah, we'll get that fixed next year. We don't change rookies' positions until after their first year when we have some data, but he'll end up being a defensive end on this platform.
Gotta have the data to back it up.
Got to be based
Firm
on data.
believers in it.
Firm believers. John goes Troy Franklin at 207. Marshawn Lloyd goes 208. Malachi Corley goes to the massive WKU Hilltopper fan at 209. Edrin Cooper goes at 210. I go with Latu at 211. And let me tell you, boys, I was sweating bullets at that pick. And then Lee, who is a Rams fan, as we mentioned, I think at the end of the
told y'all.
last pod, went with Jared Verse at 212. So Dallas Turner, 206. Latu, 211. Lee goes with Jared Verse at 212. So, Bobo, we'll start at the top, though.
Yeah.
You had the 201, went Ricky Pearsall. How you feeling about it?
I love Pearsall. I think that situation could be better sooner rather than later. I think you're going to look up and the 49ers don't want to pay Ayuk. And now all of a sudden it's Ricky Pearsall, Juwan, J-U, no, I did that,
did it wrong.
J-A-U-A-N, Jennings.
However you spell it, it's going to be
2
wrong.
years, $10 million, and maybe Debo. But yeah, I like Pearsall. I loved C.J. Stroud's reaction to the Niners drafting Ricky Pearsall. Gets a lot of separation, great hands. I don't know, man. The longer I sit on that pick, and I know I hate to be like a homer on my picks, but the longer I sit on it, the more I tend to like it. I'm coming away with a shocking amount of Pearsall in these drafts.
Every time you look at your bench and see Pearsall, you just get a little smile, don't
Get a
you?
little smirk.
He's the girlfriend meme with Xavier Leggett on his arm, but
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Pearsall that he's
Sure.
kind of looking back at, making the
sure.
hard eyes at.
I'm a big fan of Pearsall, too. He's awesome. 9.91 RAS. Had the catch of the year last year. I'm sure you've seen it 100 times.
Nickname is Rizzy Pearsall, I believe.
That's sick. He was training this offseason already with Tyreek and Waddle. So, I mean, you love that. And then he's going to be around, hopefully, Ayuk for a little bit and Debo. So, yeah, good situation. We know
Kyle
about
Shanahan offense.
the offense is
Yes.
great. So, yeah, and if one of those guys were to move, oh, boy, it could be bonkers.
And with the Juwan Jennings deal today, it kind of makes you think, wow, maybe they do move on from one of these guys.
Yeah.
It's a head scratcher, paying them before the other two.
I feel like you'd rather them move on from Ayuk.
I
right?
think so, yeah.
Just copy and paste kind of his stat line.
Yeah, I think that, man, if you do move on from Ayuk, wow, Pearsall could skyrocket in value.
Oh, yeah, he
Yep.
will.
More so than if Debo moves.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think him and Ayuk are kind of similar.
I
Pearsall.
agree, yeah.
Yeah, so QBs, one QB league. This is about what I figured. I thought Caleb Williams would go first round as well.
Yep.
He goes at 202, and then Jaden Daniels goes at the 204. So we get 2 QBs and 3 picks right there.
I think we could look back on Caleb Williams and think, oh, we let him fall way too far.
Oh, absolutely.
The more I see tape,
Mahomes-esque.
the more I see tape on Caleb Williams, I hate that. I hate when everybody comes in and they're like, dude, this guy has some Mahomes traits to him. But literally, the Mahomes manager here in RSO, the more I watch Caleb Williams play, the more he kind of moves around in the pocket and the way he, kind of has off-balance throws and stuff. It's eerily similar to Patrick Mahomes. And if you were to say, like, hey, you can have Patrick Mahomes at the 202, like, dear goodness, man, like, everybody's going to want in on that. I don't know. I think even there's going to be part of me that wishes at the 110, like, should I have just stuck in there and taken Caleb Williams?
That was my only other consideration at 109.
Yeah.
I actually thought about it for a little bit, even over Keon Coleman, because I do think that's the kind of a player Caleb Williams is going to be. I mean, certainly set up a lot better as far as weapons goes than Mahomes was when he came in.
And you kind of have
Although, is he not? I guess Mahomes had Tyreek and Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good wide receiver trio he has.
That's pretty
DJ
nice.
Moore, Keenan, Rome.
Got some
Cole
decent
Kmet,
running backs, decent
DeAndre
tight ends.
Swift.
And this is important.
Swift could go bonkers this year.
100%.
Especially for 2024, Warren Sharp does the strength of schedule based on Vegas projected win totals. The Bears have the 3rd easiest schedule right now.
Wow.
So that's pretty nice.
Wow.
You got a soft schedule, some pretty nice weapons.
Bad defense.
Offensive line is I think, solid. I don't think it's like anything spectacular.
I like that Caleb's a big guy, though. It's not like the Panthers. Poor Bryce Young.
He's not the biggest guy. He's 6'1". I thought he was a little bit taller
He
than
looks
that.
thick out there.
Yeah, he's a thicker dude.
6'1", 214. His best comparable player in player profiler is Aaron Rodgers, which that's not a bad person to be compared to.
That's strange. I do think that the first 6 picks were pretty smashes. I thought Corum there at 203
Yeah, that's
was
great value.
That was kind of tricky.
I
Honestly,
thought you might be thinking about Quorum, honestly.
I did. I don't know. The more I play this, I'm like, I have Puka and Cup right now. So, like, how many Rams do I really need? I did think it. It was in consideration for sure. I was tricked a little bit because the guy that Josh took in the 3rd, Jermaine Burton, I thought kind of would go here at the 203.
Yeah.
I thought the Bengals fan was in range.
The Bengals and WKU fan we had pegged for Jermaine Burton and Malachi Corley. We got it half right.
Yeah.
We got it half right.
Jaden Daniels feels right there at 204. And then Jalen Wright, the more I hear about him and how much he kind of like loves to study Alvin Kamara and the way that he runs. I know everybody's all crazy about Devon A-Chain, and I know that Mostert was great last year and everything also, but Jalen Wright could really surprise a lot of people this year. I think that with A-Chain being so small and being not able to stay on the field very much last year, that Jalen Wright is going to have some type of opportunity in 2024. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know when it's going to come. But Jalen Wright he's a freak athlete.
This is exactly where Jalen Wright needed to go, was I think mid-second. If I was sitting there 205, 206, this is who I would have queued up.
Yeah, I like Jalen Wright a lot. Love him in the offense. Am a little worried about just opportunity, though.
Sure.
I mean, and this is a team that will probably continue to draft running backs. I mean, that's what San Francisco does. They don't stop. Doesn't matter.
Right from the tree, man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter like how many they have or who they have.
Or when they draft them.
Yeah, they keep on adding to the room. And so I do worry about that a little bit in Miami. And also it's just like it is so running back friendly. It just seems like whoever they plug in can ball.
Yeah.
So
it's almost a cash out type situation. Get in, let them pop for a little while, and then maybe see if you can get some return on them.
yeah, I feel like people are pretty excited about. I mean, going in the second round. This is a guy that was drafted in the fourth round of the NFL draft. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't taken a lot of Jalen Wright just because of that. Because that price tag's a little rich. I'd rather just go different direction. Usually, I'd rather take like one of the big IDP boys.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, you can get like a Dallas Turner or whatever, whoever you want, basically, versus Jalen Wright.
You taking Turner over right there?
It's close.
And probably, yeah, I think so.
I think
so.
Yeah.
Assuming I'm in a league where I start 4 defensive linemen, and also I was thinking about this. I was looking at like the scoring of my leagues, and like there's an Unreal Tournament, TJ Watt averaged 18 points per game last season. So it's not big three scoring.
Yeah.
In leagues like that, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Why would you draft any of these guys highly, honestly? So it really matters. And also it's just it makes me realize that we should push even more so for big three scoring type leagues, because it really does add value and make it to where it's worth drafting these guys.
Yeah, because you don't really want to be drafting some of these crazy deep wide receivers over a guy like Dallas Turner, a top 10 pick in the NFL
Right,
draft.
exactly. But I mean, when the scoring's like that, if 18 points per game is the ceiling,
Yeah.
after a season TJ Watt just put up, I'm not gonna try and bank on Dallas Turner doing that.
Yeah,
If that's the best I can get,
You're like,
18
come on, Dallas, get to 12 points per game, baby.
No, man.
Yeah.
No. So I mean, that stuff is so important.
Yeah.
It's crazy that that big play scoring is not more the standard.
Yeah.
After people have played him, all right, let's
juice this a little bit. Let's get these edge
Yeah.
rushers a little more valuable.
What do you I don't know what people are scared of.
Mm-hmm.
Just it'll make these guys valuable and actually make people want to trade for them.
Yeah.
It'll open up your markets. This scoring really matters.
It should
boost
be,
it up.
It should be synonymous with how much these teams really love these edge defenders. Like Nick Bosa is going to retire a San Francisco 49er.
They're the quarterbacks of the defense, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they're
They're getting
never
the same kind of money.
They're all the score across the board. Even the cornerbacks. Let's make PDs 4.
Yeah.
I mean, those linebackers are still going to score a lot because they do everything. They tackle. They get sacks. They do it
Good
all.
linebackers are going to score well.
Yep.
Dear God, did you see the J.J. Watt tweet the other day? I don't remember. It was a pretty big account that was getting into some J.J. Watt wormhole stuff about the crazy year that he had 20 and a half sacks. Crazy
I
amount of
tweeted one
TFLs.
out.
You did too, and I almost I wish that I'm not smart enough. I don't understand Twitter. I never have. But I wish I
It's
could
just
have
pounding buttons
I
like
wish,
a monkey.
I wish I could have put your all's two tweets together, because you were 100% first, and then this big
Now
account
kiss.
came in and was watching JJ Watt. It's like, you follow tremendous presence in this space.
Damn
I
right.
know where you
No,
got.
you follow
I know where you got this.
theidpshow.com.
I know where
Yeah.
you got this mower thought. But anyways, do you know that crazy year he had those sacks? He had 5 offensive touchdowns.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he put up 500 points in big three scoring.
500 points.
Maybe 4 offensive touchdowns. Maybe one
It
was
was
a
something
fumble
like
recovery.
that. 500 points though.
That's
It was
insane.
32.7 points per game.
That's insane.
That was his max year.
Everyone that had J.J. Watt either won their leagues or didn't set their lineups.
This was
in the
when
playoffs or something.
2018.
Pull it up real fast.
I was gonna say you wanted the Jalen Wright RAS,
Yeah.
Bobo, 9.81.
Golly.
That's pretty good.
I love that.
That's pretty good.
Joshy, Dallas Turner there at 206. Is that who you're taking there, middle of the second?
I think so, because you look at the guys that go after him,
Yeah.
and I would just rather have, if your scoring is appropriately weighted
Mm-hmm.
and all the positions have good ceilings,
Mm-hmm.
like Addy was talking about, yeah, that's my pick there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at Troy Franklin, Marshawn Lloyd,
Yeah.
Malachi Corley, Edrin Cooper, the other edge rushers, Jalen Polk, Roman Wilson, Jermaine Burton. Yeah, I think I'd rather just take the edge one in the class.
Yeah.
Addy, did you find it?
Yeah, so 2014, J.J. Watt put up 78 tackles, 20 and a half sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries, and I don't have the offensive stats, but he finished with 521 points that season.
Insane.
Wow.
521 points. Max Crosby just had the year he had, and I don't think he put up 400.
No.
He was in the
He was in the threes.
350 to 375.
Great
range.
year.
Imagine if someone did that today.
What could you trade him for?
Exactly. And that's the thing. And that's another thing I think that it's that I was thinking about. Look at J.J. Watt's career early on. A lot of mileage,
Yeah.
way too much mileage.
Yep.
And what happened to J.J. Watt?
It broke down.
There you go. And so if you would have cashed out on J.J. Watt at that, in 2014,
You could have sold for multiple first-round picks.
unfortunately,
listened-
probably not a lot of big play leagues back then.
I listened back to the podcast last week, and something that you said really stuck in my head. A lot of things that you say stick in my head, but one in
for
particular.
the wrong reasons.
You said it's not easy to make a profit in IDP, and I thought there's a lot of truth to that. It's a lot of times hard to grab a linebacker and turn it into some type of a profit to where you can add value to your team. That's not something. the longer people listen to this show and the more we educate people, the more difficult we make it, to be honest with you. We're creating a more difficult culture for ourselves because we're telling you, don't worry about these top end, whatever. You can go and grab DBs late, whatnot, whatever type of advice we might be giving. But you are exactly right. When someone is giving you something that you value in IDP, if they're giving you some type of profit, 9 times out of 10, you should probably take it.
So not a lot of opportunities to sell.
Yeah.
Max Crosby was 318 points last year by Big Three scoring. You said J.J. Watt was 521. So J.J. Watt was Max Crosby plus Aaron Donald last year.
Wow.
Like, let that sink in for a second.
Let that sink in.
Just
let it in.
Let that marinate.
Give us a drop, Josh.
I got nothing that it would be.
Insert the meme right here for the video.
Okay, I'll not do that.
You guys know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Google "Let That Sink In" meme.
Let that sink
great
in.
one.
Man.
It's a classic.
I'm going to Google that while we're
classic
talking. Let's talk about the rest of the second round, though. Post Dallas Turner, we figured the first edge rusher was going to go around 206.
Yeah.
Not a surprise here that Dallas Turner goes at 206. Eddie, what'd you think of the back half of the second round? Troy Franklin, Marshawn Lloyd, Malachi Corley, Edgerrin Cooper, Leatu Latu, and Jared Verse. I think that's where we figured the other edge rushers would go. How did you feel about the rest of the second round shaking out there?
Troy Franklin's interesting. I know our boy Macri's been taking him a lot of spots, took him here. The fourth round capital scares me a little bit. I know he's reunited with his old quarterback, Bo Nix, but it kind of feels like he feels like Marvin Mims, right? So I don't know how it's going to shake out. Maybe it works out, but he's in a tough range there. I mean, all these guys, Marshawn Lloyd, sitting behind Josh Jacobs for a little bit. Malachi Corley, he's got like a negative ADOT.
Yeah, that's a third round pick. That was just a little bit of a reach. I think Zach's next pick was. I don't think he had a third round pick, so it was like now or never for Malachi Corley.
But I mean, I like Malachi Corley. I've taken him quite a bit. I think that the hate may be a little much. Boy is thick. The boy will be good after the catch. And again, I don't think Aaron Rodgers can throw it downfield right now. So
That's
I mean,
a good point.
That's fine. I think.
And their receivers are pretty trash.
Yeah, it's
Garrett
Wilson, and they'll manufacture touches for him. He'll be fine. Edgerrin Cooper's a guy that I'm not taking at all.
Second round was a little rich.
Just not interested. But that's about where he's going in every draft.
I was terrified that Lee was going to go Leatu Latu here.
Yeah.
I was sitting at 211. Lee's in front of me at 210.
I thought he was going the opposite. I thought he would go Verse at 210.
That's why I thought, I think if he's going to go edge, he's going to go Jared Verse here, right?
He went edge all right.
I just hung in there. I was like, I'm not going. Yes, he did go edge. Very true, Bobo. And that was a very good meme. I have seen that. Let that sink in.
Me. Good
Let
deal.
that sink in meme before. Is it still on you?
Yeah.
There you go. I just like giving Addie the solo cam for extended periods of time.
They like it.
They do like it. They get the hat tips in.
Joshy, so give us your 211 breakdown there. Well, you said you were sweating bullets. What
I
were you
really
sweating
was. Just that
meat sweats.
We had just eaten a big old steak, so I did have the meat sweats. But I was just worried Leatu Latu, who was the reason I held on to 211. I made some trades. I got rid of Zach's picks here. So Corum and Corley, those were originally my picks. I gave those up in a Pittman deal, and so I kept the 211 because I wanted to get Leatu Latu. He was the guy I had in pin on the draft board, and so. I mean, it just worked out. Odunze didn't go number 2, and Leatu didn't go before 211. So I was very, very happy. It was a smash accept here for Latu at 211.
I feel like in any other league, Macri probably goes Latu there at 207. This league, though, he is ridiculous. He's got Nick Bosa, Max Crosby.
Yeah.
He's got another
Josh
one, too.
Allen,
Josh
Rashawn
Allen.
Gary.
So
why did we let this
log
guy in
off,
this league?
please.
Why did we let this guy in?
Yeah, he's good.
He's annoying.
Yeah. Needed to give him some love because he probably not happy about the shade I just gave him at that Troy Franklin pick. So I wanted to give you some love. Sorry about that, John. But you do need to come down a little bit. You're on a little pedestal right now. I'm not crazy about that.
You need to be humbled in a big spot.
Everyone loves you.
Where's the
I
love?
like ya.
Where's the love for Addie? The let the sink in meme was good too. By the
good.
way, it was a pretty good meme.
Pretty good.
Let's go third round. Let's talk about some of the guys selected here. So we're getting into picks 25 to 36
Bob,
now.
were you upset there? You had the 301 and the 302. Were you wanting Jared Verse?
I was okay. To be honest with you, no,
Yeah,
I
he's
was.
fine.
Great receivers. Right
I
here.
really was okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about your picks, though, Bobo. At 301, you go with Jalen Polk. 302, Roman Wilson. 303, Peyton Wilson. 304, Drake May. 305, I go with Jermaine Burton. 306, Ben Sinnott. 307, J.J. McCarthy. 308, we'll talk about this. Nico trades into the 308 and goes with Junior Colson. So at 309, I'm scrambling, end up going with Byron Murphy the second. Adam, you go with Javon Baker at 310, and then Ray Davis at 311, and then Will Shipley rounds out the third round at 312. So, Baba, we were once again kicking things off with you. Talk us through your two picks at 301 and 302.
I just love Jalen Polk. I love him so much. I think that, thank goodness, Rome Odunze kind of kept a lot of the love off Jalen Polk there for a while. Kept a lot of the, spotlight on him so Jalen could kind of produce there at Washington as well. Drake May, I really like. I think Drake May could be a really good quarterback for New England. I know our boy Nate Tice loves Drake May. I think he was the QB1 for him.
He was.
Into 2024, which is a little bit of a hot take. But from a passing perspective, there's nobody there. Shout out to Addie's 310 here with Javon Baker. I mean, you all can hold on to Pop Douglas or whoever it is, Tyquan Thornton up there in New England. Move over. It's Jalen and Javon time in New England. I don't know. I just love those guys. I like Javon Baker a lot also. I just think it could be a new regime, new receivers, new system, new quarterback. I just think that anything that was the old way maybe needs to be rethought in 2024 because maybe Gerard Mayo just kind of wants to do things his way. To get into my 302 real quick, Roman Wilson was another receiver, a lot like Jalen Polk, kind of flies under the radar, not like one of these top-tier guys, but Roman Wilson is a guy that a lot of smarter people than me love, and Deontay Johnson's now gone. There's not a whole lot outside of Calvin Austin or Kevin Austin. I don't even know which one of the Austins is there. But aside from George Pickens, who I'm not even sure, I know he's good, but I don't know if he's great. Roman Wilson could be
a head case too,
Yeah, Roman Wilson could be open a lot.
I think
this
we're
year.
confirmed that Pickens is a head case.
Yeah,
right?
probably can drop could. It's always you always are concerned about that. Hopefully he keeps it together.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
yeah,
the
there's a chance that
quarterbacks
he doesn't.
The quarterbacks there just
Roman Wilson.
it's a poo-poo platter for at least 2024. We'll see if either of those guys can play.
Are y'all optimistic about Fields at all?
Nah,
No?
nope.
You think it's done?
I think him and Russell Wilson both will bounce around as backups.
Did you know
I think they'll have a good career.
Cortland
Just
Sutton?
not as a starter.
Cortland Sutton caught 10 touchdowns last year and was not a top 24 wide receiver. I heard that today, and I was like, wow, that's pretty hard to do.
Russ did okay the second half of the season, right?
He was all right.
Yeah.
Is it Russ to start the season, you think, Josh?
It is, yes. They've already confirmed Russell Wilson will start the season. I
mean-
think we'll see both.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Russell Wilson's not good anymore. I mean, the Broncos are eating like $80 million the next two seasons to get him the hell out of there. So,
Wonder how much of that Zach Wilson contract the
Just a
Broncos
weirdo.
took on. You think a lot of it? I was
don't
going to say,
know.
wow, they're playing a lot of money to quarterback, some weird quarterbacks this
Zach
year.
Wilson, yeah, he got traded, right? He didn't
the
get
Broncos,
cut. Yeah,
yeah.
I have no idea. We could look and see how much, but
Because he's
I don't
got to
think
be a
it
high
matters.
cap hit, first rounder. First.
Yeah, the 301, 302.
They have Hill too. They have Taysom Hill, don't they?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I saw some buzz about him today. I think.
Taysom Hill, the Saints quarterback
Yeah.
/ tight end.
He's in
Yeah.
Denver now.
He's in Denver now?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I didn't
Sean
know that.
Payton hand plucked him.
Yeah.
I did not. I thought he was still in New
Dude,
Orleans.
I think he has Adam
Hand-plucked
Troutman
him.
still, too.
He hand rolled him.
Yeah.
Let's keep
I'll take you.
it. Yeah. Just Sean
You
Payton.
little running white boy.
Yeah. He has an infatuation, a weird infatuation.
You
With Taysom
right-handed Tim Tebow.
Yeah, exactly. 303, Peyton Wilson, Drake May, 304. So 305, I was very much hoping that Jermaine Burton was still going to be there. That's a guy I've seen a lot in the second round. So
Yeah.
especially with the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase stuff, I mean, we'll see.
Did you think I was taking him? Were you a little worried?
I thought he was going to be gone by the time he got to me.
should
So
have traded back. Should have let old Zach get in there and get Jermaine.
Yes, I think he would have traded up to get Jermaine Burton.
I bet he would have.
I think it's just a fine dart throw because I know there's wide receiver uncertainty there with T. Higgins probably on the way out after this year. And then you got Joe Burrow. So, sure, I'll take a swing on Jermaine Burton. Definitely a head case as well.
Charlie Jones season.
Charlie Jones season.
That's right.
Okay, sure.
We're out here.
Ben Sinnott.
That's a good pick. That's
I like
a great
that
pick.
Yeah, good call.
306. I mean,
Take a shot on tight end. I think that was the second tight end selected, was it not?
Yeah.
It was.
After Brock Brock Bowers
and
at
in the
105.
real draft as well.
Sanat was a lot of people's like late second. You know, I mean, this is a faller as far
Zach
as ADP is
Ertz
concerned.
there, right? They let Logan Thomas go.
31, 2, 3-year-old Zach Ertz. He's old.
He's
He
very
hadn't
old.
played a full season.
So
in a
two
while.
quarterbacks go here. So we had two quarterbacks in the second. We have two quarterbacks in the third. I mean,
Nah,
I guess
I'm not trying to do that one QBs.
Yeah, one QB. I think I'd rather just let these guys go fourth, fifth round, or even undrafted. I don't know what the upside is.
I
taking
like May in the
either
third.
of these guys.
I don't love McCarthy in the third. McCarthy's a late fourth.
Do you think Drake May starts the season
I think he does.
as the starter?
I think he does.
I think he comes in later in the season.
What do you want
I
to bet?
think him and McCarthy both don't start the season.
Brissett. So you think Brissett starts?
I think Brissett starts the year. Yep.
And it's
And
Sam-
Bobby just asked what you want to bet.
what are we betting?
I'll bring you a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
All right.
If
What am I bringing you?
I'll have to get back to you on that. 'cause I
Get
can't-
some gluten free.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll bring you some broccoli.
Bring me some Qdoba. There you go.
All right.
That's my go-to
That's
for
a
fast
deal.
casual.
JJ McCarthy starts
you-
the season.
J.J. McCarthy versus Jacoby
And I want you
Brissett,
to
week
feed it
one.
to me.
You let us know, folks. Remind us, because we will 100% forget. Probably as soon as we walk out of the shed that we made this bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting.
They will
so-
not forget.
The listeners will
No,
not
they will
forget.
not let
we
us
trust
forget
them.
Let's talk about the important thing here. Let's get to this trade.
So the trade, okay, so Nico is on my to strangle list because I've been after Kenneth Walker, who got
What's
traded.
his team name?
Big Penix lover, or Big Penix lover,
Yeah,
depending
sorry.
on how you want to enunciate that. I've been after Kenneth Walker for years with Charlie, and Nico swoops in there and gets him for Justin Fields, the 303, which became Peyton Wilson, a 2025 second and a 2026 second. So 2 second-round picks.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, it was a good deal. It was just frustrating because I wish I'd had a chance to counter, up my offer if Charlie felt that was a better offer than
What was his
what I had
move?
sent.
What was his move into this pick? Do we have that one?
Let's see. So this one, yes, we do have that one as well. He traded a 2025 third and a 2026 third for the 308, which became Junior Colson,
So two of the same
which is a
picks.
little rich.
2/3 could look great. I mean, he's got to end up being a Fred Warner type.
But you could have 2025's Junior Colson and 2026's Junior Colson.
Yeah,
For Junior Colson.
maybe. Yeah, unless
So-
he hits. Yeah, if he hits, it's all good.
If it
Not worried
hits,
about-
you don't care what you paid.
But
Exactly.
he traded it to the right person. Sam is going to see this as like profit. He's going to be like, he's going to see that mentality of like, oh,
Yeah.
I get two Junior Colsons.
It was
now.
so
Yes,
frustrating
exactly.
because I was like, I
It's
don't
hard
think
to find.
Yeah.
I don't
Junior
think
Colson,
Sam's going to go Junior Colson because that was who I had. The ticket was ready to be turned in, so I was just crushed that Junior Colson went here at 308. I was a little surprised he had lasted that long.
This is pretty late ADP for Colson. I agree. The 203 Peyton Wilson is a Steelers fan.
303, yeah.
Sorry, 303.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen that in any draft where Peyton Wilson goes ahead of Colson.
And I think this is one of the first drafts that I've seen Edgerrin Cooper go ahead of Colson in a while.
Go that far
I've
ahead.
seen that. Yeah, but full round.
Almost a full round, yeah. 10 picks before Junior Colson.
But Colson's my LB1 in this class.
I agree. I think he's the only linebacker I think that's going to start week 1 is Junior Colson.
Yeah.
It's like Harbaugh can talk up, oh, he's not going to probably be the green dot the first year. Nah, that's May coach speak. I think this guy is going to wow in camp because he knows the defense.
Harbaugh.
It's his head coach and his defensive coordinator. Like Scott Bogman said on post-draft winners and losers, there is no learning curve for Junior Colson. Maybe some a couple little technicalities here and there, but he knows this defense front to back.
Gosh,
Head coach and DC.
Yes.
From Michigan.
Deion Henley may never get an opportunity in the NFL.
How sick would it be though if it's both the young boys?
Oh,
That would be
man.
fun.
And they're ballers.
And there's Perryman's not good anymore.
Yeah.
He's just kind of lost a step.
That's a possibility, man.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just seems
They brought
unlikely.
in Perryman.
It
So
seems
unless
very
Perryman is
unlikely.
washed, I don't think Deion Henley has a job.
He's getting close to being washed, though, I think.
There you go. That's
I
the
mean,
key.
And he also
gets hurt a lot.
he gets
Yeah.
hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So there's still hope for
There's a
Deion
path.
Henley.
Keep on
but-
speed
You have
dial.
Henley in here?
I do have Henley in here.
Uh-oh.
I do.
You have
So
Trenton Simpson
yes.
still?
No.
Okay.
I
don't either.
So we
Yeah, you did for a bit.
Evan and I were
Trenton.
scrambling a little bit after the Junior Colson pick because that was our guy. So Ringler is a Seahawks fan. I also have Jalen Carter, who I took at 302.
I was so worried because I was sitting next to Josh in this draft, and Josh was like always
Yeah,
pumping for information.
for sure.
He asked me who I told him before I made my pick who I was taking because I knew he wanted Colson. Colson gets sniped. I'm like, oh God, Josh is about to take Javon Baker.
Yeah.
Which you knew I wouldn't though, because I don't draft Patriots as a rule.
I
So
forgot
you're
about that.
Always
I forgot about
safe
that.
to
Listen, I
tell
was
me.
like 7 or 8 marks deep.
It's true. You were hella faded on the couch at
Very
that point.
much so. So I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, so
I
I
know
don't-
where I was.
I do not take Patriots as a rule, so you were very safe with Javon Baker.
I forgot about that rule. You're right. I
Yeah,
was
no Patriots.
Didn't need that stress.
Don't stress about it.
Damn.
baby. So yeah, Byron Murphy the second. We'll see. I mean, defensive tackle. I'll take a couple of dart throws on.
And
the,
now
the
he
freaks.
joins your boy Jalen Carter, and
That's
that's
right.
a beautiful room.
I'll probably snag a veteran in the auction to kind of help, just kind of fill out that room a little bit. But 2 nice young guys there at a onesie position. So
Forrest Buckner's out there in the auction.
yeah, he'll be coming home. He'll
Wow.
be joining Leatu Latu.
3 DTs.
Actually,
Sounds
I
like
don't
a
know.
new team name.
Matabikwe's out there. I may go Matabikwe
Ooh.
to avoid the Colts
Look at him. I'll let Matt
because
Beakway
I've
go
got
back.
Quiddy Pay as well, so I
That's
don't know
true.
that I want to go
He's
Latu,
getting
Pay,
Buckner.
and Buckner.
He's getting bucked.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, he
I don't know that I do.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know that I do.
Yeah, you do.
Pay ain't playing.
Put all your eggs in one basket. That's what
Yeah.
they always say,
Don't
right?
listen to this.
Smart.
This is why you got to.
You don't want to carry multiple baskets.
That's right.
That is true.
Safer that way.
I only have 2 arms. The most I want to
And
carry
you
is
can carry
2
the
baskets.
basket with 2 hands.
More sturdy.
Yep.
More
Put it behind
secure.
your back.
So Javon Baker was
Backpack.
your pick at 310, Addy, and then 311 was Ray Davis. You as well. So I know you like Baker, Ray Davis. You also have
I have James Cook.
James Cook in this league, so a little bit of James Cook insurance. Talk us through your picks here.
Yeah, Javon Baker. Similar to what Bob said, I like Drake May. I think that it's going to be Polk and Baker, at least, no worse than wide receiver 3. So I feel good about him. I think he's also dog type. As I saw where he was pretty upset about all the receivers that got drafted ahead of him. So just good things. He's already working out. They say he's an extremely hard worker. So, yeah, big fan of Javon Baker. Someone we were in on really early in this process. So nice to get him here to 310.
You have said Javon Baker's name a lot in here.
A lot, yeah. I liked him early on. So I wanted him to get better draft capital in the actual NFL draft, but landed in a great situation where he should have an opportunity. So you can't complain too much. And then Ray Davis at 311, have James Cook, but also really like Ray Davis.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a pretty good pass catcher, so this is a PPR league, so
Kentucky boy, and just a tremendous story as well. Like I do
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
those guys that have to overcome the adversity that he has. I mean, this is a dude who is going to take football seriously, and I think work his ass off to make the most of the opportunity he's been given.
yeah. So James Cook was awesome last year. I'm totally fine investing in that backfield. Something were to happen to James Cook, I could have a league-winning type running back, but feel great with those picks. I haven't seen a lot of, especially in 1 QB. That's some real value for I think both those guys. In Superflex leagues, I wasn't seeing either one of those guys last to that point. Like Ray Davis was always going like 301 to 306.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he
And
was
same thing
early
with Baker.
third. Yeah.
Javon Baker was going that same range, so feel good about the value here.
Yeah, I like it, Addy. Let's keep things rolling, though, and move to the 4th round, and we can hit these a little faster because there are some interesting picks, but not as juicy as the first 3 rounds. Round 4 starts off with Quinyon Mitchell at the 401, Brendan Rice 402. I went with Cooper DeJean at the 403. Bobo, you followed that up with Chop Robinson, who is listed as a linebacker, but like we said, we'll get that sorted out next year. And then you went with Jalen McMillan at the 305. John goes with Audric Estime, traded into that spot at 406 to get Audric Estime of the Denver Broncos. Braylon Allen goes 407. Luke McCaffrey goes 408. Marshawn Nealon goes 409. Jatavion Sanders goes at 410. Bucky Irving goes at 411. And Adam, you wrapped up that round with your boy, Cole Get You Bishop at the 412. So for me, this was Cooper DeJean was in consideration. We were going back and forth on Cooper DeJean at the 309. So I said, well, I definitely don't think Byron Murphy will make it through to 403. I think Cooper DeJean might. So let's roll with Byron Murphy at 309 and then see if Cooper DeJean is there at 403. If Cooper DeJean doesn't hit, it is tough because cornerback on a 4-year deal, I typically just like to stream that position, grab a couple guys in the auction who have nice week 1 matchups and then just cycle that position out every single week. Read Johnny's article. That's played out pretty well so far. But what I'm hoping for here is that Cooper DeJean is that Brian Branch kind of mold where it's just a set it and forget it cornerback for the next, however many years.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem with trying to find those types.
Yeah.
Because when you do land one,
Makes
it's
it a
really
lot
nice,
easier.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like to have to do the streaming thing. We have the resources out there so you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get a Witherspoon, L'Jarius Sneed,
If you can get a difference maker at that position, that's
Kenny
a nice.
Moore. Kenny Moore was that for a little bit. Yeah, man, that's really nice to have. So, that's not that bad. 403.
Yeah,
And
403.
the dude's gonna have he's gonna get return yards and stuff. So
I think he's
I
our
like it.
number 1 overall DB by our consensus rookie rankings.
yeah, I think so.
Going in the 4th round. And I love the 4th round for DBs. Love the 4th round for safeties.
Yep.
But Bobo, you were at 404 and 405. Talk us through your picks there.
It just felt like time for Chop. It just felt like the ADP was falling in such a way, especially after you took Cooper DeJean, whatever.
DeJean Mustard.
I just thought it's just time. He's not going to fall much further. And Chop's been kind of the guy that I've liked since day one. I like the motor, just kind of like the way he plays. And if he doesn't play or doesn't look that great, it's just a 4th round end. It's not like a Jared Verse that you're taking with round 2 draft capital and you're going to feel the sting from. So Chop felt good there at the 404. And then Jalen McMillan, another guy, Washington wide receiver that I really like for Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are not going to play there forever. Neither is Baker Mayfield, but I really like McMillan. He's kind of been an under-the-radar wide receiver that I've been paying attention to. But again, nothing to make too much, ado about because it is a 4th round wide receiver. So, but I agree. Going back to what you were saying there, Josh, I love Cooper DeJean there at the 403.
Would you quit calling him DeJean? It's
Sorry,
DeJean.
I can't help it. And then Kenyon Mitchell, I think, could also be a smasher at the 401. I know that's probably a little early for like a prototypical cornerback. Like DeJean will probably play inside a little bit more than Kenyon Mitchell will, but Kenyon Mitchell, man, that kid is a freak. Like, just like Adam said, like you could look up and you've got the next, like, I almost said Nate Hobbs. I don't want him to be Nate Hobbs. I want him to be better than Nate Hobbs. Let's say, like, he's probably going to play outside
Like
mostly.
prime Jalen Ramsey, but that was also when he was in the slot, when he was prime.
Yeah.
Putting up big stats.
Trent McDuffie.
I was going to say McDuffie's kind of the guy that comes to mind for me.
I agree with you.
L'Jarius Sneed, who was outside last year.
Yeah. The more I play in a lot of these leagues where if it's cornerback, that's fine. If it's just DB, that's fine also. It makes it a whole lot less stressful to have some good DBs.
Yeah.
Instead of having to just look at, all right, who has got a high
Point total
for these, matchups this weekend. You can do it that way, but sometimes it's a little maddening to do it that way.
It's tougher to do it in contract leagues because, like in this league,
Yes.
you have to eat all that dead money.
Great
You're
point.
piling up dead money week after week, churning the roster. So it does sting a little bit more. It is easier to stream in those leagues where you have no cap considerations.
Unless you just go in with 500K guys and you grab one and you play him for a week, and then essentially you're just paying that week's salary and then you're dumping him. But
also understand that that's very rare that you're going to be doing this. Like, I mean,
yeah,
we rarely do that. We weren't. I don't know that I was drafting much with him Spoon last year. Mm-hmm. Just wasn't in on him around rookie draft time. I didn't think he had that type of upside.
Mm-hmm.
Did Witherspoon go in our draft last year?
I think he went undrafted.
Yeah.
I took him in the auction.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, I rarely do spend up for these guys, but there are occasions where I think it makes sense, and I think Cooper Jean is one of those types.
Yeah.
Witherspoon and Branch opened my eyes to like, oh, you may be worth trying to find a difference-making DB in the draft. That's
We've seen
not
a lot
a
of them
safety.
lately.
Yeah, that's a cornerback.
And just the way that they're used now. I mean, it's they're used in these situations where they can be high tacklers and make a lot of plays, and so yeah, they should stop being slept on if they are being.
So
essentially every team has one opportunity to have a slot cornerback that's got some type of,
it's its own position now.
Yeah.
I think
They're all little dogs.
Yep.
They all think that they can beat up anyone in a fight.
That's what, who was it? Brett
Someone
Coleman
said
said
that,
this
yeah.
week. Yeah, it's like no matter the cornerback, no matter what team, no matter how good they are, where they were drafted, they all think they can fight God.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So it's true, and it's the mentality you have to have because you're matched up usually against the team's best overall athlete in the wide receiver. So you have to be just a savage between the ears. We mentioned, yes, John traded a 2025 third-round pick to get into 406 to get Audric Estime. So I'm always just paying attention. John's diving into the offensive side now a little more with the PFF Fantasy Podcast. So it's worth paying attention, kind of raise my flag a little bit that he traded future draft capital to move up. He actually sent that trade to me at 403. I totally missed it. So he ends up coming back in here at 406 to take Estime.
He also has Javante as well, so
nice
handcuff.
little insurance. Yeah, I like that. I liked Marshawn Nealon at the 409 going to the Cowboys fan. Thought that was nice value. We see, I believe it's our third tight end.
Yeah.
Jatavian Sanders from the Carolina Panthers going at 410. Bucky Irving. So John doubled down with running backs in this round, going with Estime and Bucky Irving at the 411. Mm-hmm. And then, Addy, you got your boy Cole Bishop at 412. Talk to us about it.
I'd say Cole Bishop's probably my most drafted player this rookie year. Love him. I mean, I love the value that I'm able to get him at. I can get him at the end of the fourth, usually into the fifth round, and I think he's going to start immediately. So, I mean, I think that you could see a return immediately on this guy. So, yeah, love some Cole Bishop.
You don't get a lot of day one starter potential in the fourth round of a rookie draft.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think he's going to be really good, really nice asset. I also want to touch on Luke McCaffrey at 408. I think that's a pretty good pick. Mm-hmm. McCaffrey, we could look up and we're like, oh, of course. Christian McCaffrey's brother.
The bloodlines, right?
Yes, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Washington wide receiver depth chart is fine, but
it's fine. You got
Jahan Dotson. And
they could use another.
McLaurin.
They could use another one.
Yeah, who's the third guy there?
Yeah,
probably McCaffrey.
So I like that. I think if you're looking for like this year's Puka, which obviously that's not going to happen.
Oh wow, look at him. He said it.
But I'm half of his production.
Jalen McMillan
Could be. That'd be fine
potentially.
But I think McCaffrey's a good candidate for that.
You're right though, and we've talked about this in some of these mocks. But it's hard really to put your money where your mouth is. As far as like at the 401, you could take another wide receiver, you could take a running back, or you could just take Kenyon Mitchell, who week one is probably going to start. Same as Cooper DeJean, same as Cole. Did I do it again?
I'm going to strangle you.
DeJean. I don't know. I don't want to say that. It doesn't sound right.
It sounds more right than DeJean when it's Dejean.
Tomato.
Jop Robinson,
Yes.
right behind him.
Robinson. Shop Robinson.
I've spent a lot of time in Italy.
Caniland.
France. What is What is DeJean?
That's Rich.
Is it?
Yes.
Is that like a known thing? What are you laughing so hard for?
Who's your DB1? Is it Cooper DeJean or is it Cole Bishop?
It's Cole Bishop.
Cole Bishop. We had some other safeties going here in the 5th round, which we can get to as we wind this thing
I hate
down.
y'all.
501, Terrion Arnold. 502, Tyrone Tracy. I go with Kamani Vidal at the
Look at
503.
you. Look at you. Living on Twitter. Needs to log out.
Again, one running back on the entire team. Auction not great in this league for running back depth.
That's a good pick.
And then Tyler Nubin at the 404.
Why does he have an asterisk?
I was
by
just
him?
wondering that.
I think he got auto-drafted. Pretty sure.
Yes,
Pretty
it
sure.
indicates that the player was
call.
auto-drafted.
Good
Yeah.
call.
But it was not the next player up in the queue or in the ADP, so I guess Lee had a
Maybe
queue
so.
set. But it was auto-drafted because it did run all the way down.
Okay, I remember that one. I was wanting to maybe get me a Nubin.
Get you a
Get
Nubin
you
as
a
well.
Nubin.
Double up on the safeties.
Because you were sitting there at 4 or 505, you end up going with a guy you talked a lot about
Yeah.
grabbing in the 5th round, Trevin Wallace.
I pretty much took all the guys that I took in that one mock that we did.
You
about
really
him.
did. You were tipping your hand entirely here.
Yeah.
505.
I don't play. I'm keep it 100
You
all the
keep it
time.
100.
100.
Always done that.
0-0. So you go with, yes, Trevin Wallace,
Which
505.
I'm pretty happy with that, quite
Yeah,
honestly.
that's tremendous value there in the 5th. You go with Isaac Gariendo
That's
at
good value, too.
506
I told
there,
you I was gonna
Bobo.
do that.
John goes with Cedric Gray, Tennessee linebacker at 507. Addy, you go with Theo Johnson, tight end for the New York Giants, I believe, at the 508. The big Penix lover goes with Bo Nix, which is really just Penix minus the P.
Ooh.
And then the
That's a
510,
thinker.
you got Javon Bullard, safety Green Bay Packers. John goes with Jerzon Johnny Newton at the 511. And then big Penix lover ends up grabbing Penix himself at the 512. So that wraps up the draft at the 512.
Really, I mean, he's really more of a big Knicks lover.
Big Knicks
Oh,
lover,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Little.
Even took Knicks first.
I know. What's going on here?
I need to change the
I
team
think
name.
maybe
Little bit of a liar.
you need to put the N capitalized. So it's like you get the best of both
There you
worlds.
go.
You get Penix and you get Knicks. It's kind of combined. It's like one person.
Yeah, I like it.
So you could go Bo Michael Penix, and then you could just get both of them in there
Oh.
if you really wanted to get spicy. But I agree. Show
You've thought
Knicks
about this
some
a lot,
love.
Josh.
Yeah. This is all off the top of my head.
I don't know if I was following all that.
I was-
So some nice defensive value, I think, in this round.
Always. Yeah.
So Tyler Nubin, Trevin Wallace, Cedric Gray,
Yeah.
Johnny Newton, Javon Bullard. I mean, that's a nice,
nice.
round. That's why we said you want to have some 5th round picks
Yeah.
because there's some nice value to be had here.
Especially in this class because there was
Yes.
loaded up offensively, so you're going to see those guys slip.
I was pissed at Macri. I was hoping Cedric Gray would fall to the auction, and he did not. So I guess I should have taken him at 506.
Yeah, it's a great pick, great landing spot there for him.
Yeah.
Tennessee, it's just Kenneth Murray on a 2-year deal.
Yep.
Could be a 1-year deal probably. And then get you Gibbons.
Yeah, get you Gibbons.
No, thank you.
Not scary.
I do
Not at all.
love. I love these running backs too. Guriendo, maybe too deep. I mean, there's a lot of people there. Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell, the best running back in the league. Christian McCaffrey, Kamani Vidal. Yes, Josh has been too mainstream here lately, and I don't care for it.
Look, I just running backs. Just give me a running back. I need someone who can play running back.
Tyrone Tracy.
I would have gone Tracy if Tracy hadn't gone 502.
Tracy's cheeky. I do think that.
Cheeky. Now you're going British.
Yeah,
This is the new Antonio Gibson right here, right?
Yeah, Devin Singletary. He's whatever. I mean, that's all that's there in New York, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tyrone Tracy could have a real opportunity. I hated seeing
That team
him go
stinks
there.
so bad, though.
Yeah, they
you
do.
just feel bad for Tracy and my neighbors
Yeah.
having to attach themselves to this turd.
And Jalen Hyatt, please.
Yeah, totally forgotten
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt.
It would. It's kind of funny, too. I've thought about that with Jalen Hyatt. Like, I have him on a bunch of rosters, and he's just sitting doing nothing. But it would be interesting, like, if you were to have had Jalen Hyatt go to
Chiefs.
the Chiefs. Not the, yeah, that's two. That's too
Cardinals.
high. Not the Cardinals. We'll say the Chiefs. Yeah, let's just
Are
say
all
the
my
Chiefs.
suggestions?
Why do you hate all my picks?
Okay, let's
Those
say
are
the
good
Chiefs.
spots.
Let's say the Chiefs. But I mean, all of a sudden you're like, wow, his value is just like completely different than it is right now. It's just so funny how landing spots for some of
Yeah.
these later guys.
Yeah,
means
you're
a
right.
lot.
It was a great pick, Bob. It's not Bob's fault. It's just he has a bad situation.
Yeah.
Great pick from Bob. That's what he's trying to say.
Favorite pick of each of us around the table. What was your favorite pick of yours from this draft?
And then let's do somebody else's.
Yeah, I was looking to see my favorite kind of
Let's just
value
do
pick.
ours.
No, I want somebody else.
I don't want to give any love to our league mates at all.
My favorite pick was 110 Trey Benson when he then gave me a first.
I was going to say,
Isaiah
your
Pacheco
favorite pick
and
was
Jalen
Isaiah
Polk.
Pacheco and Jalen Polk.
Yeah.
Mine was Leatu Latu. I mean, just to be able to get him as a Colts fan at 211.
Yeah.
That was very, very. That felt good. Made my heart happy. From then on, it was just gravy. I was like, whatever happens, coming away with Odunze and Latu makes me very happy. Mm-hmm. Addy, what about you?
Was happy to get Keon Coleman. I know that's my highest pick, probably a cop out, but just happy to add a piece like that, you know.
Well,
and then I got loads of money to go add some more talent in the auction, so
Feeling good.
Gonna get the defense filthy like always. So we'll be back to competing again.
We'll be back. You were in the championship last year.
Sure, we're gonna take
Be
another
right back
step.
there. I did win the championship.
Be the first one to ever do it twice.
I was gonna say, I think
Wow.
this is the year we get our first repeat champion.
Probably.
Feels
Some good
like
teams
it.
at the top.
I don't know about that.
Bobo, favorite pick.
Look at Bobby. Look at
Just
him.
saying.
I do think there's a world where we look back and Dallas Turner could have been a great pick at 206. I think there's a world where you're like, wow,
He's probably a first rounder when we're
Yeah.
doing the redraft.
Turner maybe
Next
should
year.
have been a first.
I said it on the
110.
SIG episode. People
Yeah.
are sleeping on him
I mean, it was.
for what he could be. You know.
I think my favorite value pick would be Junior Colson at 308.
That is
because I
really
think
good.
you could absolutely justify him like two, maybe not back of the. Well, yeah, I mean,
you could say that. Yeah.
back of the second. I think absolutely he could be in the mix. I would have taken him at 210 over Edgerrin Cooper in a heartbeat. So,
Oh, yeah.
love getting him at 3. I would have taken him at 309 had he not gone to 308.
It's
So-
funny how many people are in on Edge Cooper now. I love that. I feel like we did that. Did we do that?
You know, honestly though, I kind of got out on Edge Cooper
Yeah, I
after the after him getting the draft capital, just because like I'm not spending a second round pick on him.
it's like
and then like it's going to be muddy potentially for a couple years.
it's like DB ADP for you in the best balls. When you see him creeping up, you're like, all right, I'm done. I'm not on this guy anymore.
Enjoyed our time.
Because
Yeah,
it's
this was
probably,
fun.
I mean, it could be Edgerrin Cooper year one, but it's probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Probably Quay Walker, McDuffie.
Yep.
Yeah, I think McDuffie has earned the right to have that job at least for this year.
McDuffie was great, man.
I don't see them. I think he's up for a deal, right? So I think
Here's
this
a good
is McDuffie Insurance.
Who is a better 24, McDuffie or EJ Speed?
EJ Speed. Love some EJ Speed.
I think EJ Speed could be the LB1 for the Colts. I think
He was if you look at the way it ended.
Yeah.
you
Zaire
know.
Franklin was banged up, so I do give Zaire some credit or some slack there. I think we're going to see a better Zaire Franklin to start the season than we saw to end the season.
I think Speed has the bigger upside with the
absolutely.
big plays.
The big play upside for Speed is crazy.
Zaire's going to be the better tackler, more consistent week
Yes,
to week. but
absolutely.
Speed will have.
Speed's the guy you want in best ball because
Yeah.
you're shooting for those boom weeks
And he's cheap.
and he's dirt cheap. He's I think he's down in the 40s, isn't he?
Yeah, he's way too cheap.
Way too cheap. So
But there's a lot of good linebackers. So I mean,
there
there's
are
going to
indeed.
be good linebackers down in the 40s.
that's why we love those 30 to 40 linebackers is because it's a great range for value.
Strong
Yep.
odds for Speed to be a top 24 linebacker, though.
Yep.
Maybe
Especially if
top 20.
Zaire gets banged up again.
Yeah.
You know?
Has he been banged up a little bit, Zaire?
Yeah, he was banged up at the end of last season.
Was he before that? I mean, he's been pretty
He's been
healthy,
very
hasn't he?
consistent. Yeah, that was his first real bout, I
Gave-
think, of dealing with injury.
They gave him a nice deal.
Yeah.
And they don't really have any other linebackers there.
Yeah.
Yeah, EJ Speed, LB 35 right now.
Who was the weird dude y'all rolled out last year?
Oh, gosh. It was
Sagoon,
Ronnie Harrison and Saguna Luby.
Oh, yeah.
We had two weird ones.
Right, Ronnie Harrison's back.
Yeah,
as
he
a
is.
linebacker.
He is. So Zaire
fine.
is LB7. It's like I would much, much rather take EJ Speed at LB 35.
Are there any good
No
free
doubt.
agents still chilling?
No.
No, they're all gone.
Linebacker wise, yeah.
Yeah. Even remember we were holding out for Cleaky Hudson,
Where'd he go?
New Orleans.
Saints.
New Orleans,
that's right.
yeah. Darius Leonard's still out there. I guess Shaq Leonard's still out there.
Oh yeah,
Xavier Howard sign anywhere?
I don't
Not
think
yet.
he did.
That's
There's
strange.
a couple. There's a
Justin
couple
Simmons
free
still
agents.
hanging
I
out
know.
there. That's the weirdest one.
He's
to me.
hanging out probably for a training camp injury, if I had
Yeah.
to guess. Because then you got a lot more leverage to go sign a deal somewhere. Or a team gets a look at the roster and like, oh, God, this rookie we were penciling in is not ready. We need to go get Justin Simmons.
Just odd. I figured he'd already, find a spot.
Yeah, that felt like a week 1 signing. Like somebody's going to jump on him pretty fast.
So
Yeah.
there you
He's
go,
hurt.
folks. The rookie draft recap. Again, if you're looking for a new dynasty league, especially with salary cap contract considerations, we love Reality Sports Online. RSO, this is our platform for our main league. And tell them the boys at the IDP show sent you. So next week, we will be doing the outlook for second-year players like Brian Branch. Drew Sanders, unfortunately, will not be having a great outlook for 2024. So we did that episode, I think, me and you last year, Bobo.
Sure we
It was
did.
a lot of fun.
I'm sure it was really good.
I think you might have had COVID or something. Addy.
Yeah.
You were down for the count.
Probably.
Lord willing, you won't be this time.
Sounds right.
But we've got some fun stuff cooking for y'all. We've got the next IDP trade show is going to be a lot of fun.
Gosh.
We will just leave it at that. But we've got a very special guest lined up for that
Remote.
one.
It's going to be remote.
That's right.
Yeah, Bobo may actually be in person with our remote guest. We will see who we get lined
We
up.
got
for that
Matthew Berry
one.
coming.
Can you imagine? He's like, who are these freaking idiots? Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, make sure you
Silly
sub.
hears us talk.
Make sure you sub the website. Mike had a
Dijon.
great article this week
right.
talking about the ADP changes from May, guys that are overvalued and undervalued. Jason King
Bishop.
has a new article coming out tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Thursday, it's coming out today around lunchtime, looking at Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntz, the Raiders edge opposite Max Crosby. What does that look like? So
Gosh, what if
look
they're
forward
listening
to
on
reading that as
Saturday?
well. Then it's already out. You can read it right now for free at theidpshow.com.
What's happened? It's Saturday. What's going on?
The IDP draft, the IDP show draft kit has been updated as well. If you're listening to this on Saturday, so all of our resources, rankings, blurbs, ADP, all that good stuff will be updated every single month. So if you've got the IDP show draft kit, this is a living, breathing resource. It is updated all throughout the offseason to reflect the ADP, training camp, all the hype, all the news, everything. We will be changing this every single month to make sure it stays up to date for you all.
It's like this year-round always.
That's right. Like we said, thank you all for tuning in. Next week, we'll be talking outlook for second-year IDPs. But until then, y'all take care, and we'll see you soon.
It's the idea.